Hello, and welcome to the Quality Coding Stream. I'm John Reed. Mudshark is always here, is the first one, the most prompt of them all. And it's been utter chaos, Mudshark, because evidently the new version of OBS, which I use to stream, is incompatible with my version of my loop deck control surface. Hey, Garbob. Good to have you both. And other folks who are just coming in, we're going to get started here in a minute or two. For those who are watching on YouTube, go ahead and give this a like and a subscribe and a bell hit thingy, and or on Twitch, hey, check it out. Follow me, consider subscribing. My name is John Reed. I am a coach and trainer with Industrial Logic. What this means is that as a trainer, I teach workshops. As a coach, I sit with programmers, programming teams, and we code together. We work. Like, you don't stop working to get coaching. You get coaching as you work. And it's fun. I have a blast. Let's see. I have to, since I'm without my control surface, hopefully the connection to Twitch still works. Let's see. Okay, that works in the chat. Other things don't work. I'll just have to come over here. Good thing I got this other monitor. It's only this big. It's a little tiny thing. But let's see if I can operate it. Screen. There we go. So here are some of our popular workshops that we do at Industrial Logic. Modern Agile. Learn what agility really is. Real work workshop. That's where you just keep working. But as you work, issues will come up, and then we'll say, okay, let's work on this like skill. Testing and refactoring workshop. This is a lot of fun. That's testing and refactoring and test-driven development. Industrial Spring Boot is coming up, it looks like. So check those out. We do love refactoring. And let's fire up app code, make sure I've got things going here. It's just a bit of chaos, sorry. I'll get started here in a second, because I want to make this a bit bigger so you can see it. Actually, we're only going to be refactoring, so maybe it doesn't matter as much. I'll make it a little bigger. How's that? That's good. All right. We'll see as other folks come in. Usually, excuse me. Usually we get folks trickling in as we go. Last few sessions, we did FizzBuzz. And since I don't have a project to work on right now, for lack of a project, I thought, let's do some code katas. If nothing else, it's fun. And it's good practice for me to work the muscles. And moving on then from FizzBuzz to a different kata. This one is the tennis refactoring kata. It is not a TDD exercise because the tests are already there. What we have is some really stinky code to score tennis. Scoring tennis is really weird. I'm not a very much of a sports type person. So my experience with tennis scoring is strictly from Wii Tennis. Remember that? Uh, so we have a bunch of um, tests already. I'll just go ahead and run them, warm them up. There we go. But it's running the same tests over 3 different versions of scoring tennis. So this is just the interface to each version. By the way, I didn't realize that a protocol could have an init in there. That was interesting to see. I learned something. So there's tennis game 1, and that's, I think, where I will start. But there are other versions that have like different code and different arrangements, different styles, different smells. But let's start in tennis game 1 and let's just see what's going on, and let's have a go. And we'll see if other folks join. But I'm always glad to have you 2, 3, because there's a third person lurking here. Oh, TCR. Thank you. Yes, let me make sure that TCR is turned on by going to limited whip. Oh, there it is. It's right there. Change size is off. TCR is on for those of you who are watching after the fact and are wondering, what is TCR? It is this thing where you run tests, and if they pass, it commits. If they fail, you revert. So we can demonstrate that by, like if I just make a change here, here. This is bound to break things. Player 1 incrementing their score adds a ridiculous number of what I don't even know what they're called. Points, but they're not. Anyway, I'm going to run the tests and you'll see, boop, it disappears. So yeah, we are in TCR land, which is ideal for refactoring. TCR, you can debate it. I liked the TCR exercise for doing TDD. I thought it was interesting because you have to change the order of how you do TDD a little bit. But people debate about it. That's not TDD. But this, refactoring, like it's green or it's gone. And that is a really useful learning mechanism, because in refactoring, you want to stay out of red. You want to minimize red. And the one thing I guess I should point out is that TCR does not revert if it fails to build. So if I do string XYZ, by the way, I think I set this right. It should be 18 for you folks. Yeah, 18. So string XYZ, this won't even build, which means the tests won't fail, which means you're not done. And this is kind of a relief for me, because Swift, I don't think we're going to get into anything crazy with Swift in this exercise. But once you get into generics, it gets, for me anyway, I have to battle the compiler quite a bit. It's like, come on, I have to get the incantation just right so that all the right generics flow through. So I'm glad that it doesn't revert on not building. Maybe TDD to write code, TCR when refactoring. Yeah, I think that would work well for a lot of people. I really do. Yeah, that's a great idea. So let's have a look. What have we got? Tennis game. got player 1, player 2, right off the bat. Okay, so let's start working on code smells. Let's see if we can identify some code smells. That is actually the first session of what we teach in the testing and refactoring workshop. The idea is refactoring is cleaning code, and you can't clean something if something it doesn't feel not clean, then why would you clean it? Hi, Suigi. Welcome, first time chatter. Good to have you. I'd be curious where in the world you are, if you're willing to share that. Because we often have, I mean, we already have a global collection of folks here, which I like a lot. So, Swiggy, I like to see my tests fail before I trust myself. Having written the right assertions, TCR makes it go away, though. So what I learned, and you can find this in my last session where I did TCR to do TDD, is that you can still see your test fail. You just have to see it fail after you've written the code to make it pass. So what you do is you make it pass, then you break the code on purpose, and that should then revert the change. So it is possible. Mudshark is in Sweden. Garbob is in the UK. And Swiggy's in Austria. Ted Young sent me your way some time ago. Finally got to catch you live. All right. Ted Young is Jitter Ted. Jitter Ted is the person who told me about like live coding on Twitch and got me started on it. And he's a great guy and a good teacher, excellent teacher. I've learned stuff from Jitter Ted when I've never even taken a course from him. How cool is that? Good to have you, Swiggy. All right, so right off the bat, something I see, and this happens nicely in app code. I think Xcode does this also, where if you click on something, it highlights the uses of it. So if I click on string, you can see, well, here's string, 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 string. That seems like a primitive obsession to me. Score may or may not be a primitive obsession to represent it as an integer. That might be okay. We'll see. So we've got the initializer. We've got this 1 point. Okay, so that's just incrementing something. I see. You say 1 point and then it's player 1 or player 2. That's what's called, and then it calls score. Why does score return an optional? Yuck. Like I would think that if there's an invalid score, it should just crash, personally. Let's see, and score is, this is a long method. Look at that. It is so long, I can't see what's going on. All right, so let's start with the first step to approach with legacy code, and I think this is almost always a good step, is I'm going to run, let me make sure. I'm trying to remember, which one is it? Is it this one? Swift format, there we go. I ran Swift format, and it's made some changes. And that is a good place to start because, and that's something you can actually do without having tests in place. Let's review the code. I'm curious, what did it do here? Okay, so that's just white space. This, it got rid of self dot on two to initializing two properties because it's like it can figure it out. Yeah, returning an optional is definitely a swift and well, probably any language that has optionals. So definitely Kotlin. What other languages are there? Others, Swift and Kotlin both are inspired by other languages. So, and I don't know what they are. Maybe you do. I'm just curious. So that's white space. This looks like, okay, so that's just laying out parens or braces differently. This is putting better spacing around things. Better spacing. Okay, so anyway, that's already an improvement. So I'm going to run tests. I expect them to pass. And did it commit? I kind of thought these would go away. It did not commit. What's the deal? Mum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Do I not have it on? On passing test commit, use the last commit message. Why didn't it? I do have a repo. I've got an initial commit in there this time. Yeah, that tripped me up the first time. Why? Why? I mean, you just saw me do this. I don't understand. Crap. What is the deal? Okay, I just did an undo because you saw me do this. Okay, so the revert works, but the commit is not working. Oh, this is a bummer. Like if I add something inconsequential here, that should commit, but it's not. Doggone it. Arg. This is what I get. OBS wasn't working. Hey, there more folks have joined. Come on in. Say hello in the chat. Maybe I won't worry too much about getting TCR working here. Unfortunately. Any git errors? I don't see any errors, period. Let's look into this just a little more. Let me boop 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 boop. By the way, this plugin has another style of reverting, which is baby steps timer. Basically, you better commit something in 2 minutes. Otherwise, it's going bye-bye. But this, okay, let me turn it off and turn it back on again. And let's try. Nope. Let me quit and restart. And make sure limited whip is still on and run tests and see if this. Nope. Okay, no, boo, no TCR this time. It will revert, which is scary. I can't have that. I'm gonna have to turn it off. Doggone it. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't want to spend your time debugging this. So on we go. Yeah, I did restart app code. Hey, S'mores. Welcome back. Other folks who have been here before have seen this working. I don't get it. All right. Too bad. Let's run Swift format and run tests. Ah, I'm disappointed. It makes it harder. Not impossible, though. All right. So we've got some primitive obsession. We also have player 1 and player 2 and score 1 and score 2 as like two different things. This feels like that's I can't think of a smell name for that. There is a smell name for this. What's it called? What's it called? You know, let me take a quick peek. If I go to the Code Smells in Swift album, I thought I had an example of this. Maybe not. Anyway, if I can't think of the name, I can't think of a name. But it feels like these should stay together, right? We should have a player. We should have two players. A player object. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, Mudshark, you said to extract a player component. And that might be a good place to start. Bummed about TCR not working. So how to do this in careful, small steps. I think what I will do is I will create a struct called player. Actually, I'm not sure. And the reason I'm not sure is because the only thing that player 1 and player 2, these strings are used for. Wait, let's find out. It looks like player 2 is only used there. Player 1 is only used. Oh, it's not finding the right things. Come on. No, it must use it in the announcements. Okay, I'm overthinking. Just put it in, John. Like that. Instead of player 1 and score 1, we have player and score. All right? And so let's do this. Let's just make sure it's okay. And then let us create self. Can't type. And I can't call it player 1 because that is a name clash, but I want it to be player 1. So let me say player 1 new. It's going to be I like that. Player 1. We can't change this. It's still going to get these strings. So that's player 1, and the score starts as 0. Let's create this. good enough. We'll do the same thing. You make this smaller. I really don't expect the tests ever to fail. And I'll go ahead and do this for player 2 also. So this will be player 2. We'll create that. And that should be fine. Good. So now, wherever this player 1 is used, I should be able to replace that. Wait, it's not used. Come on. Okay, so so here I thought, oh, it's an error. That app code is not showing the usages. In fact, it's not using it at all. Well, this is something of a joke. Does that mean that I can get rid of these? Like if I say, if I set these and don't pass in the values, will this still work? It does indeed. All right, let's just get rid of it. That's really funny. Yeah, it's gone. So this is actually noise. Oh, I can't do that because there's... Man, these strings aren't used. Oh, I can't refactor it. I can't change the signature because there is no initializer. I'm just using the implicit initializer. So I'll just do that. Wow, this was messed up. This is fun. They do use a player name string here. It seems... Maybe it's lucky? Let's just print this out. And I need something I can see this with. All right, let's have a look. Because you're right, that's really odd. Yeah, player one. So it's definitely happens to match. You know, maybe I don't want to get rid of it. Maybe this hard coding is also a smell. Because it really should say, oh, I'm changing my mind. It should, yeah. It should not say player 1 for this, you know, who won the point. It would be between, say, Mud Shark, you know, 1 point, Mud Shark 666. Who's calling it? Right now, tests are calling it. So the only thing that's calling these methods are tests, and we cannot change the interface. So I'm going to change my mind. Let's put that back. I wish I could revert. There is an ability. I can commit, can't I? By hand. John. Earth to John. Commit, darn it. I don't even care about commit message at this point. I'm just annoyed. Okay, that'll help. Let's try this because it should now be able to say if player name is player, oh, this should be name. Because this should be player 1 name, right? Yeah. And if we have two people who are playing with the same name, well, hopefully they distinguish them by calling them different names. Oof, let's commit this. I'm so frustrated with TCR not working. All right. So that was an interesting thing. Yeah, player 1 can actually have a real name. Any place. So I still don't think we need these. Oh, wait, not that one. We got rid of the other ones. Any place where score 1 is used, we should be able to. Oh. You know, I'm going to change this to a class so that the score can change. Let's do that. In fact, the score should always start as 0. But let me back up, and because things are broken right now. I have to make an initializer because it's being called down here. Stay green. Now I should be able to change the signature. What I should be a little more proactive about saying what I'm about to do. I'm reading a great book right now in our book club at Industrial Logic. Is turn that ship around. Turn the ship around. It's by a submarine captain about leadership and about not having followers but creating leaders under him as if they were under him. They were. Turn the ship around. Yeah, that's it. But one of the things is deliberate action, that to avoid mistakes, they should call out what they're about to do. I suppose it's like call the shot in TDD. So what I'd like to do is the score always starts as 0. This is pointless. We should only have to pass in the name. And so let me do this in small steps. Now we're no longer using this, so I should be able to get rid of it. Oops. By changing it and wiping out, removing it from the parameters. And this should still pass, at which point it's no longer necessary to have this in here. We can just say it here. That's better. All right. I'm barely in. I'm looking at the time and I realized this is probably going to run a few weeks. Heck, even after we, if I do tennis game 1, there's tennis game 2, which is different, and tennis game 3, which is like, look how short this is. Here's the score method. It's too short. But let's look at okay. Let's look at other uses of score 1. I don't care about it being initialized here. What I'm going to do is do it in parallel and say player 1 score like that. That should work. Once I have this in place with the 1 point incrementing, then any other use of it should be fine. For example, here. Fake TCR. Here I should be able to say player 1 score is equal to player 2 score. Nice. Switch score 1. That's another one. In fact, let me look for other uses of score 1. Can I just change them all? Let me try a big step. It may fail. I'm going to replace them. Make sure that they're words. Just limiting that. And there's probably one place left where I just messed it up. And that would be here. Let me revert this line. And that line like that. I think, whoop, nope. Okay. I just screwed it up. Interesting. So we do what we do. Git reset hard head. Or there's another way to do this. What is it? Git checkout dot, I think. Let me try that. Yeah, that cleared out all changes. So I should be back in green. Let's keep going. My attempt at a big step failed. Oh, it probably failed because it updated these. Oh, let me try it again. Get rid of that. There we go. There we go. That's a good big step once I figured it out. But it was safest to just revert and try again. Let's do the same. Score 2. Could I have used rename? I don't think so, because I am replacing one use with another. Basically, score 1 already exists, and I'm trying to move away from it. This is a technique we call parallel change, where you have the old thing that you're using and you want to shift to a new thing. And so you put the new thing in place and you keep them going in parallel and try to cut the uses over. In my case, I am sort of replacing. Yeah, I'm the increment is the important point. Here, score 2 and player 2 score both get incremented, so they stay in sync. But as soon as we want to get rid of the old use. So I can't do a rename. But once the new thing is totally in place, then I can replace the old, get rid of the old thing. Let's try this again. Play score 2, player 2 score. And I know now that we don't want this duplicated. Revert that and revert that. I think this will pass. Great. Well, now these are unused, I believe. I think the only place this is used, it will be there. Yep. Let's try it. Cool. So that's an improvement. I can remove these self dots. Slow me down if I'm going too fast, for you to see, especially if I fail to call it out and verbalize it. If you just blink and you're like, what the heck happened? Feel free to slow me down. Okay. All this is interesting. Since this is a class, that is, these are, we have two reference types. Well, we have player is a reference. I can change these to lets, I believe. So, s'mores, my brain doesn't work in the parallel refactor since I don't use TCR. My tests would have just been failing for a second. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with like saying whoops and then, you know, fixing it up if you can. Like, the idea of refactoring isn't so much, you should never ever go through red because we botch things, but rather that you want to minimize the effort to go through red. But the big problem, and the reason I'm leaning into this more for my practicing as I'm doing now and my teaching, is that the whole point of the refactoring steps in the refactoring books. Let me get some. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't just keep these on hand for when I stream. There's the refactoring book by Martin Fowler. There's Refactoring to Patterns by my boss, Josh Kirievsky, whom I got and had him sign long before he became my boss. In both of these books, they have, for any refactoring, there are steps. And the idea behind the steps is that they are safe steps. If you apply the steps well, you should never have to go through red. And if you get to red and you're able to fix it up in a minute, that's fine. But the problem comes when people do compiler-driven development, which Swift folks seem to love, which is, I'm going to change this, and that breaks all these things. Now I will have to go fix all those things. This is a problem because you can't push it. Like, you should be able to push the code at almost any time because we should be doing, should be. I should stop saying should. It's best to do trunk-based development where it's like small commits being pushed all the time to the trunk. It avoids merge conflicts, and it's just a happier way to be. And it's always working. One of the key things about evolutionary design, which is what refactoring is about, is that as long as the code is working, we can shape it, we can change it, we can even add new functionality to it, so it's not refactoring at that point. But it's always working. Whereas so much of the industry is like, well, this feature doesn't work. How long until the feature works? We don't know. Yeah, exactly. You can ship the darn thing. Which gets us into a different topic, which is vertical slices. rather than merging, having PRs where it's like, okay, I'm building this layer and then this layer and this layer, and finally at the very end, it goes all the way through and you find out it doesn't work. Everything, all the tests work, but it doesn't actually work all together. And then it's like, no, no, no. Instead, go through the layers with a thin slice. Anyway, this, I believe, was my attempt at changing from vars to lets, because this was a player is a class, not a struct. All right, we've got some improvements. We have a player. It has a name and a score that can change. What's next? I don't know. But this is already a good improvement. Here's something that can change. 1 point. If player name is equal to this, then how to do this? Maybe this is okay. Maybe it's not bad, but it feels funny. Status has 1. I don't follow that, but I think you're going somewhere where I want to go. Check the score. Well, the score doesn't get calculated till down here. This is not the stinkiest code. It's very small, but I kind of wish it would just say, give the point to whoever the player name is. I think maybe I'll come back to this, because this is not the stinkiest thing. This is stinky here. This is a long method. What even is going on? Let's try to find out by looking at the indents. So we have a switch statement in here, and this is about high scores. Player 1 score is equal to player 2 score. Then we switch. They're both the same, so it doesn't matter. We switch on them, and it's love all. Remember, who here has done Wii tennis? I don't know. Or maybe you do actual tennis. Extract inner methods, so it's a composed method. Exactly. I think that's a great step. I feel like all this should come out and say this should be announce tie? Because you can never have a tie game in tennis. They keep battling until somebody is 2 points ahead. I'm just going to call this, oh, it's an in-out string. That's okay. I'll keep that for now. So that's better. And that should be, of course, fine. If player 1's score is greater than or equal to 4. So this is when you have to reach so many points and then somebody needs to be ahead. Otherwise, it's regular announcing. So this is, there are probably good terms for these. If you know tennis, speak up. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and extract this and call it advantage or win, I think. Because it can be a win. announce advantage. I'm going to say or win, since win can be in there. And one more, and that is just announce regular score, announce what's temp score? The reason I noticed it was because I went to extract it and it came up as one of the parameters. And I was like, ooh, that doesn't seem nice. Let me see if I can't move this down. And then extract it. Yeah, well, I think we probably will get to advantage and win separate. So there we go. By moving the temp score down and lowering its reducing the space between when it is declared and when it is used, I'm able to extract it all together, and this is just plain old announce score. Now, these are all sort of funny to me, but this is pretty good. All right, let's commit this. And now let me move these just a bit because I like having these in the same order. So I want announce tie to be first down below, like that, and then announce tie, announce advantage or win. This should move up, and then announce score. Yeah, that's better. That is better. The computer doesn't care, but I'm optimizing it for the reader, the scanner even. The person who's like, okay, it does this stuff, but I need to find announce score. Now, of course, they can click on it, then, and that would probably be the best way to go. But if they're just scrolling, to me, it's a surprise if these aren't in the same order-ish. It doesn't always work out nicely, but when it does, it's nice. Okay, I'm not liking passing in score, which is a string, and having it set it and then returning it. That's weird, isn't it? What I want instead is for it to say, like, this should return the score like that. How to do this? How to do this in a small, safe step. Yeah, it's only passed in as a reference to get the value out, which is like, just make it return the value. So in fact, it doesn't even need it goes in originally as an empty string. It doesn't depend on it being input at all. All it does is return it. How can I do this in a simple small step? Maybe I'll break things for a little bit. Let's try. If I say let's just try this here. So now I'm ignoring this. And I return score and update it so that it does a return. Now I should be able to say score equals. I have no idea what this will do at this point. Let's find out. Okay, that passes. Good. Because then I can remove this parameter. And that should work. Good. All right, let's do that. We've got a couple more places to do that, and then looks like our time is drawing to a close. Let me do that again by copying our score and return score and update it so it returns and assign it. Good. Then remove it. Also good. One more. Same steps. Let's take the score. What the heck is temp score? I have no idea. Come to the bottom. There we go. So this should be fine, and then this is also fine. Okay, that is better. It's still weird. There's still lots to clean up. But that's a case of, you know, don't pass something by reference if you can avoid it. Especially if all you want is for it to be a return value. Then we reshape it slowly and carefully. So how is this? This still needs improvement, but it is definitely better. We can see that you can announce a tie, or you can announce an advantage or a win. I know, two things. Or you can announce the score. And yeah, there's more to do. Lots more to do. But that, I think, is good enough for today. What do you think? Next week I'll keep going. Let's see. I need to find my scene here. So next week, let's just keep going. This is interesting. For me, it's the whole point of a code kata is, and some people have complained about it being an appropriation of a term. I don't think so. But maybe I can say that because I'm half Japanese. It's just, kata is just, it's a martial arts term. It's a form. You practice, practice, practice. And what I'm doing is I am practicing refactoring, trying to stay out of red, moving in small steps. I'll see about fixing TCR. Let me just note that. See what's wrong with that. I'm glad you think it's fun, Mudshark. Yeah, it's axe sharpening, s'mores. Garbub, Swift, as written by a C++ programmer. Yeah, it does kind of look that way, doesn't it? I know because I've been that guy. Yep. Well, thanks for joining, and we'll call this a wrap today. I've got some other things I need to fix up. I need to downgrade OBS because so that my control surface can speak to it and control all the scenes and whatnot. I need to fix TCR, but otherwise, this has been fun. If you've been watching this on a replay, hey, give it a like, a subscribe, hit the bell, train the algorithms in your favor so that you see stuff that's interesting to you. Thanks for coming by. Hope to see you again. I just have to find the right buttons here to stop streaming. There we go. Take care, folks.